The plane. The plane, boss. Alright, so what we have to do today is run this fiber. This is a 12-strand fiber. This is the conduit that we ran. Had somebody letting her eat. This is our pull string that we have through here. So what we'll do is we will make a little stand for spool here. I don't have a spool stand anymore. So I'll make up a quick little stand that we can set up over here, and that way I'll go up to the top, find the end, and start pulling it through. So let's go ahead and make the stand real quick. Alright, since I do have a threaded rod I could use, but I don't want to use it for this just because that would be too much work, and we want to work easy, not hard, or work smarter, not harder. Go ahead and get our plank. This is just going to be a 2x4. Boom, just like so. Now we have that. Just making sure that was going to be the right size. So. There we go. Like that. Do it just like so. There we go. Little spot over here. There we go. Now I should be able to stick that on there and then put a screw in there and be good to go. Alright, now I'm going to put this reel onto our reel stand that we just made. Alright, there we go. That's it on. I'm going to put a screw in here so that way it stays on there, and then I'm going to put a board going across the front so that way it's not as top heavy. I should have made those legs a little bit longer. Alright, so got the screw in, have our board going across the front, and now I'm going to unwrap this, and then we're going to attach our line to the fiber. We're going to do a couple of hitchbacks and put a whole bunch of tape, and then we will go up top and start pulling. Alright, so I went ahead and attached this to here. So basically what you do, I should have showed you, but you tie back here, then you tie up here, and then you tape all the way back. So that way it really can't pull that. You can put a lot of force on that. And then this is obviously the pull string that you would normally get. So then once I start pulling from up top, in theory this should start to roll. So I'm going to make sure that it's all good down on this end, and yeah, we'll go from there. Alright, so if you can see down in there is where our conduit is coming out, and then we got our pull string here, and we will start to pull and see if we can get that to come with us. Alright, you ready for me to start pulling it?
Okay.
Okay. You're doing good. Keep it spinning. I think we're on the home stretch now because it feels pretty easy to pull. So that means there must be a lot of line in there. can hear it.
You can?
I can hear it. I can hear it coming. Keep going, keep going. Hey!
We got it?
We got it, but I need to bring out a lot more, so I'm going to keep pulling, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Alright, so we have it sealed up at the shop. I didn't show you how we did it down there, so I'll show you how I do it up here. So this right here is some duck seal that you can just get from your big box store, whichever one's your favorite. Kind of looks like a lump of Play-Doh. Just break off a piece. Just like so. And then we're gonna jam it in right in there, just like that. Just to keep the moisture from going in there. And any critters. And I'm gonna get a little bit more, because you're really just trying to make like a cap for the end. I could just cut a hole in that, but that blue cap, but that's not going to be as good. So now you can see, now it's all sealed up. So now that the cable is run, I'm going to go ahead and run the fiber up to the D mark, and we will be back with terminating the fiber. Alright, sorry about the echo in here. Now that we have everything finished off and nothing in here, it's has quite the echo. So what you're going to want is to have a trash bucket. You're going to need a Corning fiber kit, an awesome pair of scissors just like so, little stripper, because this is the fiber. That's with all 12 strands in there. Now I had thought I was going to have to use a fan out kit, but I'm actually not going to have to do that, so that's good. So one of the things that I forgot to do was, up at the house I have a Ubiquiti or the Unify 10G aggregation switch up there. So I do have an actual Unify SFP. So I'll try that first, since this is an Aruba switch. I did test with just a generic one like this 10G Tech SFP. They work all right. So we're going to try that as well. And usually for these two, shows how much planning, I mean, I thought I did enough planning, but usually I could use like this laser right here, but unfortunately this end is for SC, not an LC. And then the same thing for my little cheap light tester. Basically you can see as soon as you take off the top little cover, or let us see some light maybe, there it goes. So it's reading the different wavelengths of light there. But yeah. Alright, so this is what the Corning Unicam kit looks like. This is what puts the connectors onto the fiber, and then it'll test if you have a good connection. When I was doing up at the top, I actually broke off a piece of fiber in one of the connectors, but that's why I always order extra. So I only get to make one mistake on this side, and if I don't, then I have to order another connector and wait for it to get here. Different ends, so that way, right now it's set up for LC, but this is for SC if you need to do that. Got our strippers here to strip the fiber down, little Sharpie. This is like a fiber optic cleaning fluid, so it's got a little pump on here. This opens up and you grab yourself a little rag. So since I don't want to use all of the ones in here, I'm just going to reuse the ones that I had. And a little pump, boom, 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 and you got a little cleaning solution on there. Other thing is the cleaver that's in here. So the cleaver will actually make it so the fiber from the buffer tube is exactly the correct length going in. So yeah, let's go ahead and start terminating some fiber. These are the connectors that I'm going to be using. So it's Corning. And you can see on here too, they actually give you a little measuring to where you want to do all your stripping and everything like that. But we don't need that. We just know to make it, we mark out our length on our fiber, and then yeah, so I'll just basically kind of show you how I do it. So I got the trash can over here, and it's just to put trash in, so don't worry, you're not missing anything. Since I kind of brutally cut it last night, I'm going to give it one of those just so we have a nice even cut there. And then what we will do is figure out how far we want to come out of here. Try for right about there. Go ahead and bring that around one time. Should break free. Oh, I didn't get quite enough around, but that's all right. It came out anyway. So that comes off of there. Clean all these, they put this yarn in here so when you're well, really this is for your strength on pulling, but then on top of that they put that yarn. They say it's to help with blocking water, but I don't know how. I mean, maybe. Really, I think it's just mainly for pulling strength. So from there, just going to trim all this hair off here, give a little haircut. And that's why these scissors are very important. These scissors will cut through Kevlar, so that's why it's able to make such a nice cut through the entire thing, no problemo. If you try to do that with wire cutters or anything like that, it ain't gonna work. Okay, so up at the top, the ones that we ended up using were green, orange, and purple. Those were the colors that I chose. So basically all we have to do is terminate these fibers, and yeah, we'll be ready to rock and roll. Just remember, as you go, you're going to make a lot of trash, so just kind of, and especially for the trimming, when you start to strip the fiber, it can get a little messy sometimes, so just keep that in mind. Get one of our connectors out here. Just comes apart just like so. Take my little scissors and go right across the top there, because we just need to get the good stuff out. So here's our actual connector that'll go into here, or into our Unicam. And then for the LC with this buffer tube, we are using this buffer tube boot. And all of them use this little clip right here. So what you do first is we're going to go for green, because that was my lucky one the last time. So first steps first, put our buffer tube on, and you want to do this before you start stripping so it's easier to get it through. And definitely be careful, because if you get this fiber into your skin, it hurts like the dickens for the longest time. It feels like when you have like fiberglass, like it's itchy, but then it also hurts a little bit too. So best practice, don't poke yourself. So what I'm doing here is I'm just using the measuring tape that comes on the case, and I'm just going to measure here so I know that. So the thing is as long as you're equal to or greater than 40 millimeters, and so I always just go to 50 millimeters, mark it here on the fiber. You're probably not going to be able to see it, but then what we're going to start doing is using our strippers and strip it. But actually first, before we do that, let's get our connector ready. So to get our connector ready, we're going to grab our Unicam here. Going to open this up. take the little protective ends off, but don't throw them away because you're going to use this one right here. You're going to use that little one to go back on that end. So then you hit this trigger right here that says load. Put that bad boy in there. Let it come back down. Make sure you got a good seal on everything. That comes down. That's good. Turn that on. Got a green light. That means you're good to go. So since we're good to go, we don't want to waste the battery while we're stripping the fiber. So we're going to close this right now. Going to leave this off to the side. Right here. Going to grab our cleaver out because we're going to use our cleaver here. And so what we're going to do with this is we're going to slide the fiber in and we push these and then this cleaves down on it. I'll show you. Alright, so with this fiber, when I was stripping upstairs at the D mark, it was incredibly brittle and incredibly dry. So we are going to attempt to do this very, very carefully, a little bit at a time. Probably can't even see that fiber right there, but there's fiber there. And don't mind my shaky hands. They're going to be shaky when I'm working with such small stuff here. Oh yeah, you can see it. See that fiber? Yep, you can. Perfect. All right, I'm glad you can see it. So little by little, just because otherwise it kind of gets a little sketchy when you're trying to go so far with such a big piece. And you just want to go a little bit at a time. Because this was actually taking off the second layer that you use the second part of the strippers for upstairs. So that's how brittle the coating on the inside of this fiber is. So I think the fiber I got was a little knockoff, but it is what it is. So now we go into the second one down, and this is the one where I always hope that I don't break it off when I do it. So you just run it along there. So now that we got it like that, now's where the cleaning of the fiber comes in. So we will use our little cloth here and put a little solution on there, and I'm going to hear that sound when we go through here. Ooh, what a great sound. See if you can hear it. Oh yeah, that's how you know you got some clean glass. Squeaky clean. Want to make sure that's nice and clean. Because you start messing up, you gotta start eating down in your fiber. Now granted, I have big service loops because I know that I am not the most talented fiber terminator that there is out there. Fiber terminator. I am the fiber terminator. Alright, so now we are gonna put the fiber in. Just guide it in nice and easy. Try not to break anything. I see it coming out the other end. Holy cow, I am shaking all over the place. And you just do it till it comes to like a little hard stop. You can feel it. So then you'll take your hands, or take your finger, or stop pressing these. Then press the red one more time. That kind of aligns the fiber one more time. Press the cleaver. It's now cleaved. Press the black. Now we have a hopefully perfectly cleaved end that can now go into our crimper. And we have our little the fiber that was cleaved off right there at the end. You press the red button over the trash can with it. So I'm going to do that now, just to get it out of there. And we'll clean up all this later. So now back to our connector here. We still have our green light on. And you can actually see a little laser pointing out of there. So we are going to put our fiber going straight through and try not to mess it up. Try not to poke anything. I'm really bad at this sometimes, so I just go nice and slow, nice and easy. And it's the same deal. When you feel that hard stop, that's when you press that cam button and it just twisted that cam. We have a green light. So the green light, now we twist this bottom ratchet, and what that did was that just crimped and basically made it so now that is a terminated cable. We have a good green cable coming from the demarc. So now to unload it, you'll lift this up, turn this off, pull this part up right here, and you can literally just pull the connector out just like so. And to reset the cam, you just press this red button, boom, now that's back out, and now you can load up the next connector and be ready to go. I always like to keep this closed because, you know, this is fiber optic tools, because any little bit of dirt on there can make for a bad day. Okay, so to finish this now, we are going to take this off. I'm shaking because I'm so excited that I got a green light on the first time. I was worried. Oh, I'm gonna put a little connector up to there, and we're gonna bring this up to here and squeeze that into there. Now we got a little strain relief right here, so hopefully it won't pull that off of there. And let's get our alcohol rag that we just had, and we're gonna give that a little clean, even though I didn't even touch it at all. And we'll take our little protector here and put that on, and boom, there you go. So that was that connector. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is do the other connector, and then we will plug it in and get it rocking and rolling. Turn it on to make sure that we're green, because if we had a blinking amber, that means that we don't have something right there. So tape right here, 50 millimeters. Cut it. Drag that across there. That's always the weirdest feeling, because it's like taking off a transparent layer. I don't know if you can kind of see the different texture in there. You kind of see it, and then once I clean it, that'll be gone. Just making sure it's all nice and clean so we don't have any issues. All right, we got a clean piece of fiber now. Hard stop, yep. So off on that one. One time on the red, one time on the blue. Take that out, and there we go. And we got our green light. Hey-oh, I like it. We take our cam down here on the bottom, twist it. It's twisted now. It is now good. So now we can take that out. We'll turn this off, lift this up, take that out. Oh, you see what happens when you go too fast? I left the boot off. That'll be okay, but I mean, really not okay. It'll be fine for our purpose, but son of a... Alright, so we have some blinkety blink lights, so it didn't even care if I had that boot on or not. I know it's good strain relief, but I'm gonna bring this through the back end here and or underneath this cabinet here, and then I'm gonna Velcro a little loop here so that way it doesn't have any strain. I'm actually probably gonna bring it on top of the switch there so it has like a little kind of tray for the fiber to sit. It's the same way up top, except for up top I have a Unify 10G, and then this is that 10G Unify SFP Plus. So now we have 10 gig fiber connection between the house and the shop. So good, very good. All right, so now I got the cable up into the cabinet. Go ahead and clean up our mess here. And even though I left that one boot off, that's all right. I have one connector to spare, so if I ever break a connector, I will have that, and I'll just have to borrow this kit from my friend again. Big shout out to my buddy for letting me borrow that. I really do appreciate it. Saved me a ton of time and money, and yeah, appreciate it.